On your commercial driver's license, any suspension ordered by the court or by the Department of Transportation is an absolute suspension with respect to commercial vehicles. So if you refuse a test or you fail a test, there'll be a suspension associated with that. Now, you might be able to get those privileges reinstated and say you could drive your personal pickup truck to and from work. But if at work you're driving a commercial vehicle, you will not be allowed to drive a commercial vehicle during the period of suspension. So it's important to remember for those of you who have CDLs or commercial driver's licenses that you can get it reinstated for personal driving purposes, but you cannot get it reinstated for your commercial driving privileges. If you're an out-of-state driver in Idaho and you received a DUI, there's a couple things that happen. First is recent policy of the Department of Transportation is to not seize your license. So if it's an in-state license, they'll have seized it and they'll take it into their records and the driver will no longer have it in their possession. Out-of-state driver's licenses, they don't do that. You'll keep your driver's license. However, they're still going to try to suspend your driving privileges. Now, the way the suspension works is if you don't challenge the suspension or you're unsuccessful at the ALS hearing, you will face a 90-day driver's license suspension in the state of Idaho. The question becomes what about my home state? And the answer to that is if your home state learns that Idaho has suspended your driving privileges in Idaho, they'll suspend your driving privileges to honor the Idaho suspension. So it really becomes a practical matter of distance from Idaho. In my experience, states like Washington and Oregon and Wyoming and Montana that border Idaho share information very well with Idaho. So if you're an Oregon driver in the state of Idaho, you're going to get suspended in Oregon. They're going to learn of the Idaho suspension, and they'll suspend your driving privileges there. If you're a driver from, let's say, North Carolina or Florida or Alabama, communication is not as seamless. So there's a lot of times that North Carolina never learns that you got a DUI in Idaho and doesn't know that you've been suspended. So you're talking about, as a technical matter, you will be suspended for 90 days, assuming you're unsuccessful in your challenges. As a practical matter, your state may never be aware of that, but that's up to you to check the driving status in your state and be aware of how your privileges stand there. But you will face a suspension in Idaho, and in some instances that suspension will travel with you to your home state.